Okay, I'll put something across here, and it's going to be called Who Benefits Common Sense Gun Laws? Who benefits from no gun laws? Let's see. We've got Congress people who end up getting paid by the NRA to keep common sense gun laws off the book. And we've got the NRA who benefits from more gun sales. So they're the ones making the big money there. Now, who benefits from having common sense gun laws? Well, let's look at it this way. For every gun sold, there is a potential victim. So now let's break it down in another way. For every single mass shooter attacker, there is more than one gun sold. So the NRA benefits from that. For every victim that is shot, there is government money that is paid out for medical bills, especially if they are made disabled. There is benefit money sent out for living costs for that disabled person. There is benefit money sent out for psychological treatments for that victim. There is benefits taken away from society from that person not being able to have a job, hold down a job, or pay taxes. So in that case, it's still the NRA and these senators and whatnot that are benefiting from no gun laws. So tell me, why are some of you out there saying that common sense gun laws is all about the money? Who's making money when common sense gun laws are put in place? I'll tell you who is. Society is. Because there's less victims, less taxpayer money spent out to those victims for medical treatment, for housing costs, for psychological treatments. There's less victims that are no longer living, that are not working in society and paying taxes. So common sense gun laws benefit society as a whole. Now, without common sense gun laws, the only people who benefit are the NRA and the senators who get paid by them. And you fools out there that are hollering against common sense gun laws, you're idiots. You've fallen for the NRA's bullshit to stay rich. You're a bunch of idiots. They don't care about you. They don't care about your Second Amendment rights. The only thing they care about is keeping as many common sense gun laws off the book so they can sell as many guns as possible, regardless of who buys that gun. They can care less what effect that'll have on a society where we have mentally ill people getting a hold of guns, we have terrorists getting a hold of guns, and I mean even homegrown terrorists You guys seem to think the only terrorists there are out there come from some other country. Uh-uh. We've got homegrown terrorists right here. And some of the biggest ones are white supremacists. They're also the biggest ones who are out there hollering, no common sense gun laws. Why? Because they know if common sense gun laws are put in place, they won't be able to get a hold of that gun to go to a black church and shoot up a bunch of black people, to walk into an Asian-owned business and shoot up a bunch of Asian people, to walk into a Jewish synagogue and shoot up a bunch of parishioners, to go to a mosque and shoot up a bunch of Muslim people. Them white supremacists know they would lose that ability. They would lose their easy access to their weapon of choice. That's why they don't want common sense gun laws. Think about it. If you're afraid of background checks, maybe that's why we need background checks. Maybe you're one of those people who would never pass a background check. Because the only thing that a background check does is make sure that mentally ill people, that criminals, that terrorists do not get a hold of a gun. Go into your community and start killing people. That's all it does. If you're a lot, and that wife beaters and husband beaters and children beaters don't get a hold of a gun and kill their family members. Now, are you a wife beater? If you're not, why are you afraid of common sense guns? Are you a white supremacist terrorist? If you're not, why are you afraid of common sense gun laws? What makes you so afraid of common sense gun laws that you will refuse them and harm your society? What is it? Are you a terrorist? If not, what are you afraid of? Oh, that's right. The NRA conditioned you to be afraid of it. The senators being paid by the NRA are conditioning you to be afraid of it. Because with the NRA, with the common sense gun laws put on to our laws, the NRA no longer has power over our senators. The senators no longer get paid to give them that power. And the NRA are allowed to sell a gun to absolutely anybody they want to. Anybody. And more weapons of complete destruction like an AR-15 will be allowed in a peaceful society. You want to shoot an AR-15? Join the military, motherfucker. Join the military. You want to belong to the militia? Join the fucking National Guard. Because that's exactly what it is. Stop standing around out there thinking you're some kind of a tough guy because you can have an AR-15 and watching some asshole out there walking into a high school shooting up children and then claiming, oh, my Second Amendment rights. We need good background checks. We need to make sure people pass them Not like in some states, oh, if it didn't come back in 3 days, it's already an automatically assumed that that person is good to have a gun. No. If that background check hasn't come back in 3 days, well, I guess the person who wants to buy that gun needs to wait a little bit longer. Tough shit. What the hell does he need a gun in 3 days for anyways? We ain't got a war going on, and if we did, the government would be standing there handing out guns to citizens. Really? You guys are a bunch of freaked out, frightened little children hollering about your Second Amendment rights. Just the way the NRA wants you. You're childish. More concerned about your gun rights than you are about the citizens of your community. When in fact, common sense gun rights are not going to be taking away your right to own a gun. It'll take away the right for those who want to do harm to your community to be able to do that harm. Really? So keep boo-hooing about your gun rights. And see how much you'll be boo-hooing about them the day some idiot walks into your child's school with an AR-15 and starts firing at your children. Common sense gun laws will not take guns away from law-abiding citizens unless you happen to own an AR-15. Now, the way I look at it is we should have common sense gun laws. We should take the AR-15 and other guns like it out of society. If it doesn't work for hunting, if it doesn't work for basic personal protection, it doesn't belong in society. An AR-15 is nothing more than a people hunting gun. Now, you say, okay, what about people who want to do shooting contests and exhibitions? Okay, fine. They go in, they register for a special permit. When they register for that special permit, they need to show by having an investigator come in their home that they have a proper storage place for them AR-15s, that it would not be easy for a criminal or a crook to get into and steal their gun. I mean, something that is locked into a bedroom or a room that has no windows. The damn thing's mounted down to the ground and to the walls, and that it would take a master encryptionist to break the lock on it. So it can't be stolen. Not something that some idiot can walk into your home, pick up the whole chest, carry it out to a truck, go to another site, and cut the damn thing open and end up with an AR-15. You should have some kind of a storage that they damn near need to destroy the gun to get it out of where it's stored. Every gun should have either a trigger or a muzzle lock. That way, any kid that picks up that gun has no ability to shoot somebody accidentally. If you are not a good enough person with guns that you cannot protect your family with a regular handgun or a regular rifle from one or two intruders in your home, then I suggest you go to the gun range. You get yourself, in fact, I think it should be law that everybody should have to take classes for gun safety and gun use. I think everybody should have to do that before they're allowed to own a gun. Just the same as you are supposed to take driver's school license schooling before you get a driver's license. Really. And there's more benefit to your community. Is making sure every gun owner has had gun safety classes. It benefits your community, not the NRA. You guys are a bunch of idiots and fools. But hey, keep on being that way. Till some idiot comes into your shopping mall while you're shopping and starts shooting you. Common sense gun laws are meant to protect the society and decrease the cost to our government because of the victims of gun violence. Not having common sense gun laws are meant to protect the NRA and add to their ability to rake in the money from gun sales and benefits nobody but the senators they pay off and them. Think about that for a minute and stop hollering, oh, common sense gun laws is nothing but about money. You're looking at it one-sided. It goes both ways. Yeah, common sense gun laws is about money, about the fact that less taxpayer money is going to be going out to be able to serve the victims of gun violence. And less victims will be out there that can't work and can't pay into taxes. Not having common sense gun laws is also about money. But it's about money for one organization and the senators that are paid to support them. It is not about the money that'll go into your society, your community. So think about that. And stop crying about common sense gun laws unless you know in your head that there's a reason why you would never pass a common sense gun law background check. And if you need an AR-15, then you must be living in the Middle East or somewhere where there is a war, because there isn't one here in America. And if you got people in black outfits in numbers than just a few, ascending down on your home from helicopters and trucks and everything else, then excuse me, what did you do to get in trouble with the FBI? Because you're not going to end up with a gang of people doing that. Most home invasions are no more than one or two people who ascend onto a home. And if you're such a bad shot, you can't take care of one or two people, you need to go get some gun lessons, some shooting lessons. Seriously. You do. Even 3 people coming in your home. You should be able to shoot them without a problem. You know your home better than that crook does. You know the places you can tuck away and shoot at them freely, but they can't shoot at you. But no, you're all so afraid of the crooks who got a hold of a gun because there's no gun laws. Who keep those guns because law enforcement has no ability to stop them from owning it. Because there's no laws out there for an officer to take away a gun from somebody who is not qualified or certified to use it. Common sense gun laws benefit society. Not having them benefits the NRA and the senators who support it, so that they can keep on raking in the money from the NRA. The NRA spends millions, not a few $100,000, not a few $1,000 on senators to be able to keep them from passing common sense gun laws. They spend millions of dollars on senators to make it so those senators will not pass common sense gun laws. Millions! The same millions our government would save from not having to pay victims for a cost of living, for psychological treatment, and for medical treatment. In fact, our government pays out more in those treatments and those services to victims than what the NRA pays to the senators. And that's taxpayer money. That's your money. You go to work and work an 8-hour or a 60-hour week, an 8-hour day or a 60-hour week, or some of you working more than that. And you're paying in your taxes every paycheck. You got that 30% of your income coming out of your taxes, going into the government, and going to pay for some victim of a gun violence. And then you sit there and cry about people who are on welfare. And you cry about people who are on Social Security or SSI. And you cry about people who are on food stamps. Well, excuse me. Not having common sense gun laws, allowing more victims out there, there are going to be more people on food stamps and housing assistance and getting welfare and getting Social Security and needing medical treatment and needing psychological treatment. And some of them are going to be your own children. And they're going to need therapy, and they're going to need every kind of service that they can possibly have to try and bring them back to some sense of normal, which you'll never get to. They will never again be normal. They will never again live without fear. Why? Because you idiots are hollering, no common sense gun laws. Fuck you. Benefit your society. Take a look at yourself and really see why you are afraid of common sense gun laws. I'm banking it has nothing to do with whether or not you can pass you yourself can pass a background check. In fact, I'm betting many of you have already done it. You've passed the background checks. So what are you afraid of? Did you know there are states out here that don't have background checks? What if your state lines up right next to a state that has no background checks? Your state might have them, but the one next to you don't. Some idiot from your state can pack up, go to that other state, buy whatever damn gun they want, come back to your state and your community, and use that gun to do stupid shit. How about the states that don't have background checks on guns that are sent by UPS? Hmm? Here comes some kid on the internet. Ooh, look at there. That's a good gun. I want to get that. Oh, no background check? I can get an AR-15, and I'm only 14 years old, and it'll be sent to my house? Instant school shooter. What about the states that don't have background checks on guns that are sold at auctions and at gun shows? There's another source for some terrorists, homegrown terrorists, because that's what these school shooters are. They're nothing more than terrorists. They're terrorizing our schools and our shopping malls and our concerts and everything else for their own agenda. Political or not, it's their own agenda. And it's meant to cause fear and terror. They're terrorizing our mosques and our synagogues and our churches for their own agenda. That is plain up, straight up terror. That's all the more it is. It is meant to cause fear in the society it is happening in. And they've succeeded, and the NRA has allowed them to. So grow a pair of testicles, and start thinking about common sense gun laws, because the only reason why you don't want them is your own small-minded fear that has nothing to do with whether or not you will pass a common sense gun law background check throughout all 50 states, and making sure that kids as young as 14 and 16 are not allowed to own and operate a gun without proper lessons and without adult supervision. You know, the age of kids that are having these hormonal problems, that are going to their schools and shooting up their schools. Yeah, those kids. And right here in Iowa, those kids are allowed to own and operate those guns without supervision. And a couple of them have already killed some of the kids around here. Small town Iowa, it even happens. And it might not be a mass shooting, but it was still an innocent victim killed. So really, grow up and stop giving the NRA the power. Take your own power. Insist on common sense gun laws in all the states. Insist on background checks in all the states. Insist on special permits to own and operate a AR-15 and other guns like it in competition. Insist on it. And let's make our society a safer society. Does that mean that we're going to stop every crook from being able to get a hold of a gun? No. But it does mean that there will be stiffer penalties for those that do get a hold of a gun.